Hey guys, this is Jay Calderon with Jay Unboxing here, giving you a personal prediction for Magsayo versus Rey Vargas. And as always, of course, this is just my take. Would love to hear your predictions down in the comments section below. Of course, all your picks, your bets, all that good stuff, especially on this one. The odds say it's going to be close. The eye test says that it's going to be close, so definitely going to be a good one. Love to hear all those kinds of things down in the comments section below. Little bit of fight info here. We have Magsayo versus Vargas taking place at the ALAMODOME in San Antonio, Texas, airing live on Showtime with Magsayo's WBC Featherweight title on the line. And in my opinion, this is perhaps one of the most slept-on fights of the year thus far. Two young, relatively primed fighters, both undefeated, with the title on the line. I mean, there's really not much more you can ask for. And both can fight. That's also important, too. This should definitely be getting more attention, yet, of course, it's not. I know that neither are Jake Paul or anything, but, they're still pretty good. A lot on the line for both of them, and you're kind of matching the explosiveness of Magsayo with the volume of Vargas, with both having kind of underrated skills, of course, to boot, which is never a bad combination. But what style prevails? Tough to call, of course, so either way, we're going to break this one down and try to figure it out. Starting with the champion Magsayo here. For Magsayo to win, I think he wants to work the uppercut, specifically the right hand. He has a really good one, something he can time really, really well, and he throws it with some conviction. I think when he can catch Vargas potentially coming in, trying to look to throw some of those combinations he loves to throw, that uppercut could be a useful tool. It's one that doesn't have to be super precise either. It can be used as sort of a kind of a hybrid body shot slash shot upstairs, because as long as you're landing somewhere on a fighter who's coming in and sort of creating that double impact, it's going to be successful. In any event, that uppercut I think will be a useful tool, and one that can kind of set up a lot of his other shots, as it might potentially steer Vargas from coming in so much, and then allowing for Magsayo to set up more of his work as he presses forward. I would also say double up the jab. As a shorter fighter with less reach, that's going to be something you're going to want to do, especially as you're trying to kind of close the gap here. You're going to want to push him back if you're Magsayo, and that's going to be very effective, as double jab will be, in doing that. You'll be able to push him back, time him, offset him, kind of make him have to recalibrate some of his rhythm, especially as a combination puncher. He's looking to acquire that rhythm. You're trying to stop it naturally. The double jab just allows for you to close the gap a little bit better as it pushes him back perhaps and gives him something to think about, and it's always going to set up a lot more of those kind of blinders you're looking for to land the right hand or any other power shot you're looking to land behind it. So it's certainly something I think Magsayo should use and try to get using pretty quickly in the contest. And finally, I would say time the overhand right. Magsayo has a decent right hand in general, but I think if he can kind of arc it a little bit more against a taller fighter who at times can be caught with his chin up in the air, it's going to be something that Magsayo can use to his advantage. Mark has fast hands. He can close the gap pretty quickly. He has some fast feet as well. So if he can time that properly, throw that double jab, as I was mentioning, and of course the uppercut, which is going to potentially stand Vargas up a bit more anyway, this is all going to lead into him being able to land that overhand right, which I think can lead to some success for him in this contest. Now, for the challenger Vargas here in this contest, I think you want to set up the right hand. He can do this a number of ways. He's a pretty skilled fighter in this respect, in that he'll go to the body sometimes, he'll double, even triple the jab, and what it does is effectively set up that power shot, because you're thinking about anything but that right hand. He's also good at placing it in awkward ways. He doesn't always throw it in such a perfect straight line, but he's unorthodox enough that when he does throw it and decides to put that little bit of English on it, so to speak, and get there when you don't expect it to. Couple that with his reach, and he can get that right hand going early and often at the right range where Magsayo's just out of reach, but he is capable of hitting him. That's going to spell success for the Mexican fighter, which I think he's going to need to look to do pretty early in the fight to kind of gain some respect, push his man back, and kind of control the tempo and the story of the fight. I would also say don't load up your shots. One thing you can tell with any combination puncher is that their punches need to be fluid. And when you try to land those perfect shots and hurt them with every single thing you're throwing, you're just negating some of your natural abilities. You don't want to do that if you're Vargas, naturally. You're going to want to make sure that you're kind of letting your punches flow a little more liquid to your shots would be the way I'd put that. And you want to make sure that you're just letting them come naturally. As the fight progresses, you can put a little more sting on them, kind of throw those 50% shots and mix it up and keep them guessing. Those will be the shots that get home, that will get home, continuously, consistently, and land with more effect later on in the contest. And finally, stay off the ropes. And to some degree, this is a key for both because I think both fighters generally fight better moving forward. I think Vargas can move and box a little bit on the back foot a little better, but that's going to be completely thwarted if he's up against the ropes or in the corner, allowing Magsayo to kind of tee off on him and land those bigger shots. A problem for bigger, longer, taller fighters, however you want to look at it, up against the ropes or in the corner is that you effectively neutralize your own advantages, which are your size, because you have to lean back a bit more. You don't get to step back as much. Your strides don't matter as much. Your height doesn't matter as much because he's able to get much closer. You obviously don't want that if you're Vargas, so keep your back off the ropes, circle when you need to, press forward when you're able to, and I think you'll have your best success in the night. Now, in terms of my pick here, legitimately went back and forth on this one. I mean, even coming into this thinking Vargas may be the pick, but in the end, I'm edging towards Mark Magsayo in this contest. I think Vargas is just too easy to get hit sometimes, and that really is the difference in my opinion. Yes, the activity could trouble Magsayo at times, even for stretches of the fight. However, the more explosive shots of Magsayo, I think, might press his opponent back and force Vargas to reset, which is what he's going to want to do consistently, rather, in this fight. This fight, I think, will go back and forth, and rounds will be hard to score. I think it's going to be somewhat of a close fight, and that's what this fight feels like to me. But I think the more youthful legs of Magsayo and his slight edge and power, of course, coupled with his underrated skills, will make the slight difference that is needed to kind of win this fight in a close contest. I can see Vargas even hitting the canvas because, again, he is too upright at times, especially early, but I do think the fight goes the distance, and the fight remains, as I've mentioned, relatively close, with Magsayo making just a slight bit of an edge in this fight with that kind of power shots that snap the head back, and like I said, perhaps dropping him with the right hand. So my pick being here, Mark Magsayo via close majority or split decision. But this one really could go either way, he said, playing the middle, of course. In my defense, of course, the betting odds do have it pretty damn close as well. They have it at minus 115 for both fighters, so it's effectively an even money fight. Really, it's a pretty easy one here, in my opinion. You're going to make a relatively small bet, something you're comfortable with, and you're just going with what you feel here. I happen to be leaning towards Magsayo, and I think, again, based on just kind of the build of this fight and who they expect to win, he's the champion. I think it will be a close fight. He will have perhaps a slight edge in that power department, as I mentioned. Unless he gets completely outworked by Vargas, I do see it being close. I do think the power could make a difference, and of course that's how I'd be leaning. But again, it's relatively close odds, and you're not getting what I would consider tremendous value because it's just an even money bet. Not a bad pick in boxing, all things considered, but certainly not any huge return. So something that you're comfortable with losing, but would certainly like to see return if you could, of course. In any event, those are your odds. And my prediction record as of July 4th, 2022 is 22 correct with 6 wrong, no draws with 6 exact. But let me know what you guys think. As I mentioned, this is a really close fight, a very interesting one to me that I think is very underrated. So love to hear your thoughts on it, your predictions, any bets you got going, so on and so forth. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at jcalderon_JOB. You can email me at junboxing@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you there. Also, be sure to check out junboxing.com for schedule, results, betting odds, rankings, all of that good stuff, of course. And as always, until next time.